Good evening and welcome to tonight's council meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order. First thing I'm going to ask for is agenda changes.
Mr. Mayor, with City Attorney Jantz being absent this evening, we will remove the attorney-client privilege executive session from the agenda.
Okay. Any questions, council? Well, I'll open up for public forum at this time. Looking around the council chambers, there is nobody here that can address us, so I'm going to close the public forum and move on and ask for the approval of the consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor, trusting that we've all gone through it and there are no questions or discussion, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion carries. We have no unfinished business tonight, so we'll move on to new business. First item under new business is Parks and Recreation bleachers purchase, and looks like Mr. Williams is here to speak to us on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Didn't take long to get down that part of the agenda tonight. In your packets, I believe you had the bleacher proposals that we'd put together. Just a bit of history. The bleachers at the, we'll call it the Little Diamond, Softball Diamond, whatever you want to refer to it as, have been a concern. Safety-wise, they're the older pipe welded, boarded type bleacher that you see at a lot of small diamonds. They have put in many, many years of very, very good work, but for safety reasons, it was felt we needed to look at an upgrade, and I totally agree with that. This is what we've kind of settled on. I'll tell you what I did. I called and visited several area fields to kind of get a feel for what people use for this type of thing. That is where we play our rec softball games. It's where the high school plays their varsity softball games. A couple things came into play. One, the size that fits behind where we are now. The footprint made sense to get this type. Second thing, one of the concerns was the dugouts don't provide a very good line of sight down there because they are in the way. And I happened to be visiting Cheney and saw their setup with an elevated bleacher. When I called the representative that they used at the company, one of the first things out of his mouth was, "Yeah, I remember that," because they were worried about their line of sight because their dugouts were in the way. I'm like, that's exactly what we're fighting. So you'll notice what we kind of settled on, or what we're proposing to you all, is an 8-row. The picture that is included, I just want to be totally transparent, is a 10-row system. Ours is actually the 8-row version of this. This was just a much better picture of the type. So just so that is very clear. It's an 8-row elevated bleachers, 30 inches off the ground. There are steps on both sides to get there. You'll notice the handrail up the middle, which is a definite upgrade from what we have. One of the concerns on the old set was the fall-through possibility, because those old wooden bleachers are not exactly fall-through proof, if that's a word. These, while they are not permanent, they are substantial. If in future days or years or whatever we decide to do something different with our diamond, these would be easily, taken apart and moved. We're not dumping things into this diamond that we can't reuse should a project come up. So all that being said, one thing I would point out, in addition to the purchase itself, and I don't know, Ethan, I think you talked about this in what you wanted to propose. We would need to do some footings work, some small slab work to get the concrete to where we needed it to go, plus an ADA seating area at ground level to offset the fact that these elevated bleachers were a little difficult to fit in our footprint with ADA. So we'd do what we did at the Big Diamond, which is have a designated seating area right behind the backstop for ADA compliance. They would be at ground level and be concrete based. So you have the two proposals in front of you. I reached out to several companies in the area. These both came back. There are pluses and minuses to both. Both the contact for these are in Kansas. The SOPA quote came from the group out of Wichita. Heartland Seating is out of Shawnee, I believe. And I, as far as the companies themselves go, the only thing I know on the background of both, we did have one of our committee members for the Parks and Rec Advisory Committee has dealt with Heartland Seating at work and said they were great. So that's, for what that's worth, That is what I know. So there are options, as you'll notice, as far as they will deliver and install, or they'll just deliver and installation would be on us. And I don't know if, I didn't really run that by Pat to see if that was an option. But I would encourage us to go ahead and get the delivery and the installation. The maintenance guys have enough to do, just my personal feeling. And you don't want me putting it together. So.
What's the lead time?
We are looking at 2 to 3 months to get these delivered and installed. So we would still be okay, and that changes greatly, and they all caution me on this, with supply chain things still going on in this particular area.
Right.
We should be well in time for our next major event, obviously not Old Settlers this weekend, but high school softball, usually the very tail end of March, April is when their home season starts. So that, I think, would be our big unveiling of the new bleachers.
Do you have a preference?
I don't. I don't have a preference at all. Again, the Heartland seating one is one that one of our committee members had dealt with before on some indoor bleachers. But school and office products, again, right there in Wichita as well. So I leave that up to you. That's why there are 2 of them. Just to see if you guys had a preference. But a huge step in the right direction for improvements we can make with the existing diamond that we could still use in the future.
So I'm still in contact with the school. I'm gonna have a meeting, after Old Settlers. So I wonder if we should maybe hold off a couple weeks so I can get more information on what they may plan to do. I don't know.
I suppose that's up to the council. If you guys want to table this till Josh has those conversations he's been trying to have with the school, I mean, we could do that. I really don't want to hold up our rec commission very long over it because, like Grant said, even if we do make changes, these are designed to be reutilized with those changes, so.
Yeah. Well, I just offering that. I don't know what you guys think.
No, they look like great, a great upgrade from what we got there.
Definitely something.
And I don't know, if you're visiting with the school and there's something that's pending that could really reflect on our decision here, maybe,
We just don't want to spend our money twice, is all I'm saying.
right, so maybe if there's something that's out there that's pending that school may bring forward,
Yeah,
I don't think.
and I don't know.
Tabling this for 2 weeks, I don't see an issue with that. If anybody else is,
I'd be comfortable tabling it for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Not gonna
Think
hurt
that'd be
your
enough time for
feelings,
you?
will it, Grant?
What's that?
Won't hurt your feelings if we table this for a couple weeks.
Not at all. We are, and like I said, we're fully operational down there without these right now. It's just the only thing coming, it would be next high school softball season would be the really, when it needs to be addressed and done and up by. So if you guys are comfortable with that.
well, it sounds like there's more information out there to be had, and I think it'd be a good thing then I'd make a motion to table this issue till next council meeting.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to table this issue to the next council meeting. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Well, there you go. We'll have some old business to deal with at the next meeting.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Grant. We'll move on to the next item, and that's a Dragon Grant application for the library sidewalk repairs. Ethan will walk us through this.
Thank you. I'm sure as probably most of the councils saw the sidewalk going to the library entrance buckled during the extreme heat wave. They need to replace that. It's obviously an unanticipated repair on their end. So visiting with Jolene at the library, she just asked, if the library was eligible for Dragon Grants. They are within the area. Sidewalk repairs are allowable. That being said, obviously the library is a fellow taxing entity. They're a related city entity. So, whether a Dragon Grant is the most appropriate manner, for us to address that issue, I guess I'll leave it to you. The library does, have funds that just obviously like any unintended expense, and they run a pretty tight budget. Just kind of through there. or would offset their budget, getting it, into it if we're gonna start doing some concrete work. There's definitely concerns with that corner. The tree, the ADA ramp all needs to probably be redone. So sidewalks again are kind of that very gray area of they're technically the adjacent property owner's responsibility when there's issues, both with state statute and under city code. But again, the library is essentially part of the city. We tax on their behalf, build their budget into ours, et cetera. So, or build a part of their taxing into our city budget. So just wanted to open up a discussion. We have options of, we could ask them, the library itself, to repair that because it's just an entryway sidewalk and say, hey, we'll look at the greater, radius area. Unfortunately, I think that would result in that tree, although it's very mature, probably needing to come out. It's very close to the curb, and once it starts to push out that curb, we'd probably push for its removal anyway. And that's gonna be a larger expanse, but can really improve that overall area because there is, elevation concerns on the sidewalk proper that's running parallel to Main Street. The city can offer to just pay for it outright to help them out. We can approve a dragon grant. So really just opening that up for your guys' discussion on how you would like to do it. We do know it's a repair that needs made. Becker did go over there. It's not as simple as just doing a saw cut and letting it fall back down. It's gonna need at least replaced. That's the immediate. We have more time to talk about the sidewalk area overall, but I think that needs to be on the radar as we started looking more and more of fixing that, because we have some trip hazards, and like I said, the ramp area, especially with that one handicap space, could definitely be improved.
Has the city visited with Becker regarding costs on the entire scope of the project?
Not the entire scope. I know Jolene, at least fixing the walkway itself, the 1,400 was gonna cover most of that cost of what they had got from Becker. So, because when she asked on available funds, and I said, I think there's only like 1,400 left, she said, oh, well, that actually would solve their issue as far as what they had in matching funds as well. But yeah, it would definitely be more than that, just judging from what we saw at Second and Main when we updated that radius.
Personally, I just don't think it's a good look to use the dragon funds for city property. It's not why they were created. I'd rather the city just took care of the costs out of the normal city budget and leave those dragon grant funds available for other businesses on Main Street.
I'd like to see multiple quotes on the entire project.
Okay.
And I would like to, I don't see us having to have the library pay that. 1,400, it's not much. I think we should probably take care of that. And I agree. A couple of quotes on it.
So basically, you guys are okay if we move forward with getting whatever we need to get the actual entryway, the
Yes.
buckling repaired as soon as possible.
As soon as
But then
possible.
for the larger radius, we'll quote that out. Not a problem.
You gonna require any formal action on that, Ethan?
No, because the immediate repair should fall within, and we'll bring quotes back before we do any other work, because that work will be farther out anyway.
Any other questions on that particular topic, council? No, so we'll move on to the next item. That's mobile sign loan agreement with Harvey County, and again, we'll rely on Ethan for this information.
Thank you. This is one of those weird things that probably if Brad was here, he'd say was well within my realm to authorize, but as it's the first time we wanted to do it, Harvey County basically bought 2 mobile messaging signs as part of the CARES Act funding at the start of the COVID pandemic back in 2020. They were used, to advertise the vaccination sites, various public health messages. Acquired to the county, because one of the complaints that I've always had or feedback during Old Settlers Weekend is, when Riverside Park is utilized and there's heavy foot traffic and people are parking in Pine Park and pulling out, that there's no real warning, especially with a lot of out-of-town people that are coming in at 55 KD9. Not everyone observes the reduced speed ahead and 30 mile an hour exactly when those signs are posted. And so having some sort of warning out there would be beneficial, or along the way there, kind of where the Monsanto property is. Just letting people know there was increased traffic. We really started to talk about it too in October with the Kansas barn sale being here, which is, a very well that. So we reached out to the county and said, hey, maybe can we borrow these signs to put up kind of along and see how they work, see if they have any effect. We think, or we're hopeful that at least adds a little bit more visibility and messaging, just kind of encouraging people. Obviously, as you see from the rental agreement, and to be expected, while we're not being charged for it, if something were to happen with the signs, the county would want them replaced. And that's why I want in front of you, because basically we're borrowing, equipment that costs over $20,000. So if we would need to replace it, and I don't foresee that we would have any issues, et cetera, just don't want to enter into that kind of agreement and then surprise you if something unforeseen would happen and we're replacing a sign for the county. So
If something unforeseen would happen, being that they're in our possession, would our insurance cover this?
I believe so. We're working with K-Camp now to get an answer, and we're insured with K-Camp, and the county is as well.
Right.
So hopefully that answers that for us, but
Pat, have you seen these signs yet? So you don't know if they got good provisions to lock them up so somebody can't come along and snatch one or something like that?
I don't know what the county has with it, but we'll put tongue locks on them at the very least, and then we can always chain the axles if they don't have something.
Or just lift them and remove the tires? They're on trailers, that they can be towed off.
I assume they're pretty secure. The county had them in
Probably,
multiple locations
Yeah.
throughout 2020. They moved them all over the county, from Burton to us to Walton and then, if this seems to have a positive effect or that, we would look at borrowing them again for the Old Settlers and Art Fair weekend.
Yeah, I
Similar messaging,
think it's a great idea.
Okay.
so.
Well, with that, I would make a motion to approve the city manager to sign a loan agreement for mobile signs with Harvey County for the use during the Old Settlers Weekend.
Second.
Got the motion and the second for Ethan to work out this agreement with Harvey County on these mobile signs. All in favor, say aye.
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 Those same sign. That motion carries. Now, the next item on our agenda is another one of those fun ones. We need to set up another work session date, council. And Ethan, how soon are you wanting to do this one?
Next week, the week of the 15th.
I'm good any day but Friday.
So,
Same here, any day but Friday.
Wednesday would be great, or Monday.
Any day but Wednesday.
How about Monday?
Let me check my other calendar. School starts for me next week, so it's not a good week. Let's see what I've got.
Brody?
Monday's not great, but I can make it work. Otherwise, everything else is fine.
What do you guys prefer?
I'm open,
You can do Monday,
What time, Denise?
anytime after 6.
After 6.
Yeah, I've got new students starting at 5, and I won't get out of there before then.
Brody, you have a time that works best for you after 6?
6:30 is fine, somewhere around there.
Okay.
Want to do it for 6:30 that Monday?
6:30.
6:30.
I'll need a motion to set that, council.
Mr. Mayor, I'd make a motion to set work session time for 6:30 on Mondays. Oh, I
Be
lost
the
my date.
15th.
The 15th.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to set a council work session for 6:30 PM on August 15th. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Both same sign. That is set. See, it was easier than I thought it'd be. We do have one executive session this evening. We originally had two, but since our attorney's not here, we do have a non-elected that doesn't require the attorney's presence. And I would ask for the motion now.
Mr. Mayor, I move that the Halstead City Council recess into executive session for 20 minutes to discuss duties and performance of an employee and maintain privacy rights pursuant to the personnel matters of non-elected personnel, exception KSA 754319B1, and ask that in addition to the governing body, the following persons join the governing body in executive session: the city manager. The open meeting and governing body to reconvene in the city council chamber at 7:40 PM.
Second.
Have the motion and the second to enter into executive session. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We will move to the other room, council, and start our executive session. We are back from our executive session. Is there any action to be taken as a result of? Hearing no movement from the council, we'll move on to our agenda. And we're ready for the report section. And I'll start with governing body tonight and start with you first, Brody.
I have nothing tonight.
Denise?
Got nothing.
George?
We have Old Settlers this weekend. Everybody be safe and enjoy.
Josh?
I was just gonna say the same thing, respect, city staff and police officers.
Thank you.
Amen. I'll add that, people, even people renting golf carts and you that are registered golf cart owners, make sure that you review the new ordinance. Make sure you're familiar with it. Those rules will be enforced. We want everybody to have a good time. We want you to be safe too. Let's move on to Ethan for our city manager report.
Thank you. Emailed the longer report to you all for the meeting this evening so that you can review that at your leisure, but just some highlights beyond the normal departmental operations. Good segue for the Old Settlers regulations. I know we've gotten a lot of contact at City Hall and the police department. Essentially, we're following what we've done the past couple of years as far as waivers. It's a little interesting this year with us kind of revisiting so close to Old Settlers, but essentially the requirement for mirrors, registration with the city, and slow-moving vehicle are the exceptions during the weekend. All the other provisions, as far as safety equipment, et cetera, need to be adhered to, passengers, that kind of thing. And then to note, they do show leniency on the night of the Old Settlers fireworks only, with carts that don't have lights. As long as you're going directly to or coming directly from the fireworks, it's okay if your cart does not possess lights. We still strongly encourage you to make yourself visible, stay to well-lighted streets on your way home. And that's only for Saturday night, not any other evening. Halstead Police, actually 309 Property Management, the Snow Shack, and the Joel Floor family are sponsoring Police K-9 raffle. So our police officers will be selling tickets for that to help raise money for the K-9 program this week. Staff are gonna begin looking at marquee replacement here at City Hall. We're running into more and more tech issues with the marquee. We can't get parts for it. Basically, every time we call, we're either gonna pay an exorbitant amount for someone to come out hourly to look at it, and then they're gonna tell us they don't have the parts for it anyway. And pretty much every time we call, they start with, "Oh, you're ready to buy a new sign." So we're gonna start, that's been basically put off for the last 4 years as far as a capital project, just because we wanted to get the useful life out of that sign as much as we could. But Julie and I will hopefully be bringing that to you guys in the coming months as far as a replacement. As noted, most departments have been spending a majority of their time gearing up for planning for Old Settlers and the mass participation that the city has in that, and in-kind donations on top of our monetary. So just want to thank all the departments for what they do there, and of course, all the volunteers that make that possible. We have received notice of approval of the water line improvements for the Cedar Meadows addition. And we're still waiting, unfortunately, on the wastewater approval from KDHE, but at least we have the water improvement lines, or the water line improvements okayed. And once we get the wastewater, we hopefully can go out for the utility work and get that subdivision continued on. And then just wanted to note that October 8th through the 10th is the LKM conference in Overland Park. So if any of you have an interest in attending that, you can look at the league's website as far as the schedule, but get with Julie and I, we'll make sure to get you registered. And then I also just wanted to announce, and we'll put out a formal press release as well, that Andy Lowe has been promoted to the Director of Fire EMS position, and Chief Hoffman was promoted to the Deputy Chief of Operations for the department. So just want to congratulate both of them and look forward to their leadership in the department. And that is all I have this evening, unless there's any other questions.
Council, any questions for Ethan? If not, I would entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Second.
Have a motion and a second for adjournment. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, council.